A horrifying scene, so difficult to comprehend. Naomie Breton in a ball of fire captured on surveillance cameras at a Florida gas station. The flames searing her skin as the terrified mom of three runs from the man who set her ablaze, a man who is also chasing her with a large knife.
We have an emergency. This guy has a knife, there's fire.
It all started with what appeared to be a routine stop for a fill-up at a Florida gas station. Watch as her ex-boyfriend, Roosevelt Mondesir, pulls up his car next to Naomie for a prearranged drop-off of her 4-year-old son. But things would take a sudden and violent turn. He didn't show up with her son. Instead, he came armed with a gas can and doused Naomie in fuel. Naomie then runs inside the convenience store, desperately trying to get away from him, but she can't stop the raging ex-boyfriend.
Get away from me!
Watch as he forces Naomie outside and eventually lights her on fire. The panic-stricken Naomie screams for help while at the same time fighting to stay away from the man hell-bent on killing her.
He had every intention of killing Naomie that night.
She's able to put out the flames, removes her shirt, and runs back into the store where she frantically calls for help.
He set me on fire! Okay, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, please, please, please.
Do you have paramedics?
Yes, yes! He's still outside, he has a knife. He set me on fire!
Okay, I have them on the way.
Hurry up, please, it hurts.
Boynton Beach police officer Patrick Monteith was first to respond to the gruesome scene.
He had a plan. He set the plan in motion by luring her to the location.
Naomie's skin is charred and blistered. She suffers 2nd and 3rd degree burns on her head and body.
She didn't have her shirt on anymore. All of the outer layer of her skin, pretty much for the whole upper torso, had been burned off. She was obviously in a lot of pain.
She miraculously survives and goes from this to this.
I remember smelling my skin burning. Like I smelled the gasoline, and it was disgusting.
Naomie talking about the terrifying attack at the scene where it all happened.
So basically he just came and started pouring the gas on the car, and when he threw it that way, that's when it landed on my face. It landed all over me.
Roosevelt Mondesir ran from the scene, but was quickly arrested. Naomie still worried about her son's safety as police search his home.
They found the child asleep in his bed, safe and sound, which was very comforting to hear over the radio.
During questioning while in custody, Mondesir never once asked about the injured mother of his child.
So what was your plan? Were you hoping that she could die today?
Because the kids are suffering already. They never did everything. It's going to a lot of problems.
The reason for such a ruthless attack? A jealous rage because he thought she was seeing someone else. A jury finds him guilty of 1st-degree attempted murder and domestic aggravated battery. And he was sentenced to life in prison. It's hard to imagine how this brave woman survived such an act of depravity. Her recovery has been excruciating.
I would have to go to the hospital, sit in a tub of hot water. Basically, they boil me over again, and then they take metal brushes and have to scrape all of my burns. And this was my face, and just all over, every part that had gotten burned.
And now, several years after the brazen attack, Naomie's wounds have healed. But this strong survivor would be hit with another tragedy, one that she says is more painful than the day she fought through flames to save her own life. After escaping her attacker and fighting through flames to survive, Naomie Breton stands outside her Florida home, healed physically from the horrific experience, but now bearing new scars. Mental scars from losing her eldest son, something she says is more painful than fighting through those flames.
Xavier was funny, bubbly, happy-go-lucky, just always silly and laughing, always just a good spirit.
20-year-old Xavier Breton was Naomie's eldest son. Photos and keepsakes now hang in the family home, a reminder of the young man who had to step in and help his mother raise their family after Naomie was set on fire by her ex-boyfriend.
He basically made sure chores were done, kids were picked up from school, baths were done. He really stepped up on every level.
But on February 13th of 2019, the day before Valentine's Day, Xavier stopped by her home to pay a visit, Naomie unaware that it would be his last visit.
I was in the room knocked out after work, so I didn't even know when I got up. He was here. He was like, I just came and got a haircut, just kind of chilling out.
Xavier headed out to be with friends in West Palm Beach. Then a couple of hours later, Naomie's younger son got a phone call.
Giovanni came running in my room, and he says, Ma, Xavier's been shot. When I arrived to the scene, it was at that moment the detective told us that Xavier was no longer, he had expired. I lost it. I didn't care what time it was. I screamed, I cried. And I remember the officer telling me that, mark her words, that she was not going to rest until my son's murderer was underneath the jail.
And Nathaniel, Xavier's little brother, who was meant to be in the car that day Naomie was set on fire, recalls,
I mostly just felt shocked, like I didn't know how to feel at the time. And then I think it hit me like a few days later. I was really sad.
It's a devastating loss for Naomie, for her sons, to lose Xavier. I mean, he was a huge, important person in their lives.
Olivia Hitchcock is a former reporter with the Palm Beach Post who covered the shooting.
And so she desperately wants to know, as any mother would, what had happened to her son.
I became a full-fledged detective. I was able to uncover some things. I was able to even contact the detective and kind of give information that I knew.
The tough mom was not going to let a day go by without pushing for answers.
The friend had actually heard the gunshot go off, and he saw Xavier run and go up this path, and that's apparently where he collapsed.
On a day to celebrate Xavier's birthday, she kept pushing.
She just asked people, if you know anything, write it down on a piece of paper. I don't need your name, I don't need where it came from, but just help me figure out what happened.
Then finally an answer from the detective who assured her she wouldn't rest.
2 years later, I got a call, and she was like, okay, I need to come and visit you. I'm on my way. And I just couldn't stop crying. I couldn't stop crying. Like, it was, I knew I was gonna get some news. And I don't know if I wasn't ready for it.
So in January of 2021, a grand jury indicted Kevin Davis and Vincent Thay Ortiz on a charge of first-degree murder with a firearm.
2 men indicted, but Naomie is still filled with so many questions. As she visits the site where Xavier was killed, not a lot of information has been released about the circumstances surrounding the shooting.
It's been 6 years since my son's life was taken, and we still haven't been to court.
Back home, Naomie and Nathaniel wait for their day in court, always with Xavier by their side.
This necklace charm with his ashes in it that says Xavier forever loved. And I used to wear it on me all the time. And I usually bring it places for like good luck.
And they will still need all the luck they can get as they patiently wait for the slow-moving wheels of justice. Naomie Breton, the woman who survived so much in her life, remembering her last communication with her son as she drives to the place where he took his last breath.
Close to 11:45. I had saw that he had messaged me. I was like, hey, I saw that you came to do everything that you needed to. Be safe, I love you. He says, I love you too, Mom. So at least I got a I love you.